Hello, my dear friends, and a very, very happy day to you. It is a joy to be with you again today. I've been very much looking forward to our gathering, and I've been cooking up some phenomenal content for you all that you can follow and practice in your own life to get more of the results that you want. Okay, we've had two very powerful meetings. Those of you who have not been able to see those, they're right here on my wall. I actually pinned the one, and the other one, you just scroll down a couple of posts, you will find it. And I will also actually post the links in the description of this video. And I welcome everybody who is able to join us live this evening and everybody who's going to watch this video over the next few weeks and months. Welcome, everybody. I'm super happy that we're here, that we're learning more about the law of attraction. This is such a very, very distinctive time on this planet where we are being opportuned with so many chances of raising our vibration and having more of a positive impact in our community, in our society, by becoming more masterful in our own effectiveness with the law of attraction. That's my belief. That is my purpose for doing these kind of gatherings, to really help people understand the power that they do have and what they might be able to actually achieve with that power when they are using it more proactively and with more direction. Okay, and that's what these seminars are all geared towards, to give you resources, to give you practical input that you can immediately go out and do something with, and then start seeing what the results are bringing to you. Which, in my case, so the first seminar we did is about a month ago, and I can only report to you that some of the things that I did put in motion a month ago, in sharing this information with you, in sharing, for example, some of those tips about create that kind of environment that is absolutely conducive to the kind of manifestations that you want to attract into your life. I rearranged a couple of things since the first seminar, and so now my altar is actually over there. And I recently got out my little travel altar that I've been having with me for the last 14 years. And I actually set it up in my altar here to remind me of the trip that is coming up for Sean and me next month to Europe, and just asking for protection, creative energies, that we meet the right people, we're going to show up at the right places, those kind of things. So that's what I'm currently holding the intent for in my vortex. So that's just one of the tips that I shared with you guys, is to start thinking about how can I create more of the environment that is conducive to reminding me of the kind of manifestations that I want to have. So for example, one of the things that I'm also working on is this pilgrimage that my husband and I will be doing in August. And so I got one of the little figurines out, and her name is Hildegard. She was a mystic over 1,000 years ago, and she has a lot of impact in Europe. She has some monasteries, and we want to visit them. And therefore, as I'm preparing myself for this hike that's going to be over 85 miles, I am also having this little figurine right here in my office. As I'm looking at it every day, it just imprints itself. That energy imprints itself. It reminds me every day, oh yeah, that's right, that's what we're going to do. Oh, only 14 more days, oh wow, one more week to go. Those kind of things, that beautiful feeling of anticipation, right? So those are just two tiny little practical things that you can do in your own life and immediately see an effect. You can also do it with things that you listen to, the kind of affirmations that you're programming on your cell phone, the kind of videos that you simply listen to during the course of the day, and informing you just on that subconscious level, or the mantras that you listen to. Beautiful. There's so much wonderful music and so many wonderful resources that we now have access to. And YouTube is not the only way of getting that information. So surround yourself with that soundscape that lifts your vibration. I have my party mix. I actually just did another playlist that is now all about happy songs. So I researched a bunch of happy songs, and I got like 12 now that I love to play when my little granddaughters come up and say, oh, my time for dance party. And we got our little disco lights out there. And then I put those songs on, like happy, like I got that feeling. Da, 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 got that sunshine in my pocket. Cannot not move when I hear that stuff. So that's the kind of music that I love to listen to, especially when it's about that morning energy, celebrating a new day. I love to listen to my affirmations from Esther Hicks. So those are the kind of things that you can do. We call it auditorily, with your ears, as well as the things that you're saying. So do you have positive affirmations that you're running in your mind? Do you have mantras that have become normal? First mantra I ever learned, the first time I ever even heard about that concept was in my NLP training in 94. And someone said that word mantra, affirmations. And the first one that I heard was, all is well. And to this day, it gets me that, all is well. Alles ist gut. Oh, that feels so wonderful. What a concept to just say all is well. It's going to turn out right. It's going to be okay. It's going to turn out well. Just imagine starting with those kind of mantras, especially if you are in a little bit of a lower vibration or you are dealing with a lot of stress in your life. Just little mantras like all is well, it's all going to turn out okay. You're going to make it through it. So those kind of encouraging affirmations are going to make a huge difference for you, okay? So definitely start writing them down, start creating those journals. Actually, I got my old journal sitting up front there and my new journal, which is actually so perfect how that all manifested itself with the little titles and quotes that are showing up on it. I'm like, yeah, perfect. Thank you, universe. You just gave me another wonderful evidence about that I'm on the right track. So the kind of things that you can write down, your gratitude lists, all those kind of things that you can listen to and that you can read and speak yourself, that you can think in your own mind, in your internal dialogue. So that's the auditory part. So that's another amazing resource, just using that. Huge, huge, huge. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper into that here in a moment when I'm going to start answering you guys' questions that you have already sent me. And I'm also, of course, hoping that we will get a few more questions right here on the spot as well from those of you who are watching live. And I'm also looking very much forward to questions that I will get from anybody who's watching here in the next few months. And simply type it in. I hope I get a notification that I see that you have commented and that you have asked me a question, or you sent me a personal message if you don't hear back from me, that I will then integrate into future seminars, because that's how I love to a lot of times create the content for my seminars, because it comes from the community and they are those burning questions that a lot of you have. Yes, a lot of you guys ask me very, very personal questions, and they're actually more like case studies because it is something very specific about a family member or a friend that you want to have more information about. I will not go into details in any of those because I want to protect your privacy, and that's just up to you to share publicly, not my deal. And therefore, I will look at the underlying patterns, and I do see the commonality in a lot of those questions. And so we're definitely going to touch on several of those. And I do hope that you do get your answer. And if you would like some more personal insight, then please, like I said, feel free to send me a personal message right here on Facebook, okay? Right on, right on. So you guys, before we dive into our content for today, I would like for us to just center ourselves, take a deep breath, shake off everything from the day. It's been a day, right, for most of us. I know we have a few people who are a lot further west than where we are right now. Some of you are already actually coming the next morning, and then some of you are still lagging behind. You're still at work, perhaps, and you're going to watch it later. So everybody, welcome, welcome. I love the community that we're building here. I love how many people you are already sending this to, how many people are tuning in on our different platforms. Remember, we do have a Quantum NLP Law of Attraction Club if you are not yet part of that. And again, make a reminder to actually post that link as well. This is the platform I've been having for a lot of years, and it's been growing quite a bit. It is essentially the virtual format of the seminars that I used to do about 17, 18 years ago when I first started out with Quantum NLP. So there are all these wonderful resources available to you. And for right now, we are here enjoying our presence together. I want to see who is already checked in. Do we have a couple of people already checking in? Because make sure that you say hi so that I can acknowledge you, and you also enter our drawing. And I will tell you who has won our drawing. I had 3 of my family members help me with giving me the directions in my Remember Special strategy to find our family member, to find our winner. And I'm so excited about who won today's session. All right, so we already have several people saying hi. And the first person today who said hi is Denise. Hello, my dear friend. And if you do have a question, please make sure that you send it to us or you send me a personal message about it, okay? All right, you guys. So, and of course, I have little Wibbles saying hi again. Sean, are you with the children? Thank you, darling. Hey, it's life, you guys, and I live with my beautiful family. And therefore, of course, I have little visitors. And those of you who want to meet little Clover, definitely check into last week's or 2 weeks ago, the video I made then. And she says hi around 43 minutes. Of course, she had to come in, check out what Oma's doing, right? Okay, it's telling me that I do need a little bit higher rate. Okay, you guys. I hope that I have enough internet going on here, enough bandwidth, because we do have 5G here. It's actually running pretty good here in Canap. And so I hope I'm not losing anybody, okay? Otherwise, just watch the recording. And usually I do always do a double check on it afterwards, and it always looks really good, and I don't get any glitches. So that might actually be worth your time to then watch it again. And of course, it's always worth your while, because then you get to do the exercises again. So please give yourself the opportunity. I've done some of these processes hundreds, some of them thousands of times, and I still always get something cool out of it and something that's enlightening and somehow moves me forward. So can't do it enough, guys. Can't do it enough. Back to our breathing, back to our centering. I'm so curious how you guys are going to receive everything that I'm teaching you today, because there's some powerful stuff that we're going to be touching on. And I hope that some of it might have been crossing your mind as well. Some of it's pretty deep. Some of it is pretty interesting, more philosophical perhaps. And I'm hoping that I'm stepping up to the plate and give you something that is going to be insightful, enlightening, and useful to you. Okay? So that's my intent for today, because I'm challenging myself. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to go deep. We're going to go deep. And I know that all the perfect people are showing up, because after all, we are all entangled. And of course, we have that energetic agreement between all of us that we're going to show up on this platform together. All right? So sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable, however you're experiencing this, on your phone and on your computer, if you just listen to it, however it's presenting itself to you. Just take in the information, run it through your own filters, and then see how it works for you. Okay? What is useful to me? What can I use? How does this apply to me? How can I make this into something practical in my life, personally or professionally? And I would like for you to set your intent for this time that we have together. What is my intent for being here? And that's actually the first question, because someone did ask me, so what does it actually mean when you're saying set your intent? And I did talk a little bit about that in some of my other videos. Again, they will be linked for your convenience. And you can just think about the idea of what is the framework that I'm drawing around the picture, the movie that I'm currently creating for myself. Because the quality of the frame that you're putting around that picture or movie completely determines the quality of your experience. If I put the framework of, this is going to be really hard, and oh my God, I'm really going to suffer through this. Oh, I really hate doing this. Oh, why do I have to do this? Okay, I'm going to do it. It's going to be such a dredge. So if that's your framework for whatever experience that you are about to engage in, I'm having this long flight in front of me. I'm having this long drive in front of me. Oh man, there's a 10-mile traffic jam coming up. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to deal with so-and-so. I have to deal with that and that situation, okay? And you're gearing yourself up about how awful it's going to be. What you're doing in that moment is you're drawing a negative intent frame around that experience, and then that will manifest itself. The experience will be colored by the intent that you're setting. So now, total back pedal, now completely different scenario. This is going to be the best trip ever. I'm going to create the most beautiful memories. I'm going to encounter the most amazing people. I know I'm going to attract some incredible miracles and magic, and it's going to be just one of those things that's going to turn into a great story that I'm going to be telling in the future. I know this trip is going to be so powerful. It's going to be one of the most powerful and meaningful experiences of my life. And then imagine having that frame drawn around that next vacation, that next family visit, that next hangout with your friend that you haven't seen in forever. Then you're using that framework to create the experience you want. Isn't that exciting, you guys? So, and just by how you're formulating those thoughts in your mind, the pictures that you're making, the things that you're saying to yourself, the gestures, look how animated my body is as I'm talking about that stuff. All of that comes together in that package that becomes an experience, because that ultimately is then the energy that you're sending into the universe. And you've heard it said, the universe doesn't listen to words, it's the feelings that accompany the words. For most people to go directly to the feeling is pretty tough. I'm feeling pretty depressed right now and like really hopeless and not seeing much perspective for the future, for the world, and I'm feeling really down on humanity and all that. To go to that person in that very moment and say, I would like for you to now feel hopeful and very excited and curious about the future, is too far of a leap. When someone is able to do that, that means they have a whole bunch of strategies built into their neurology that allows them to very quickly and easily do that, because they probably have rehearsed affirmations like, you know what, yeah, essentially all is well. It's going to turn out all right. I'm going to be okay. My family's going to be okay. I trust humanity, and so on and so on. So you're going into your feelings through your thoughts. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you sense with your body? What do you smell? What do you taste? Those are our five senses that we're constantly interacting with our environment with. And that's how we are absorbing information. That information goes into our brain, gets sorted, and then at the right moment when it is useful, it will come out. You're meeting someone, they share their name with you, you remember the name, there's something exciting about this person, it matters to you to get to know that person. So you're making a decision saying, I want to remember that name. So it goes into that file of importance to remember. And then the next time you see that person, you go, oh yeah, you Lisa. Hey, great to see you again. Yeah. And they go, wow, you actually remembered my name. Or you're the kind of person who's like, I'm really bad at remembering names. And therefore, you're actually spending the whole time while the other person is introducing themselves and you would have the ability to learn the name. You are actually wasting the time saying things like, I'm not going to remember it anyway. I hope they like me, da 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 da. And you have whatever thoughts flowing around your head instead of actually listening or processing, hey, I want to remember that name. And then again, you see them next time, you're like, what was it? What was it? Oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. Lisa. That's right, Lisa. All right? That's how we process information, you guys, all day long. There are different numbers floating around. I've heard numbers up to 15,000 thoughts per day. Wow. Just imagine that level of information flowing in and being sorted. And when you do talk to people who have been hypnotized and who are able to conjure up memories that are just incredible, and there's so much literature on that at this point, it's just laughable to even doubt that there is a true reality to that kind of a skill, that things that people are remember is just incredible. The information that they can conjure up in certain moments is just phenomenal. And those of you who are hypnotherapists or training hypnotherapy know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a very, very, very fascinating study. So that's the kind of stuff that you can have a tremendous effect on, okay? And so this whole idea of the intent is just a language that we're using in NLP. Set your intent, which means create the emotional framework for the kind of stuff that you want to have happen. Create the emotional and thinking framework that enables you to hold the space for the kind of stuff you want to have happen today. Create the framework for the emotional space that you want to hold today. For example, I'm in a mastermind group and I set my intent every single day. I share my goals for the day. These are the top key points. For example, I shared for this evening: clear presentation, connection, fun. I then set my intent, and my intent, for example, is to have a beautiful flow between work and family, or to be fully present in today's experiences. Or I actually took Sunday completely off. It was one of those don't even touch the computer days. And the only reason I would turn on my phone is to watch some King of the Hill reruns or listen to some music or whatever, and not look at emails and stuff like that, which is so hard. And I set my intent. Today is a full day off. And I'm going to be off. And I'm not going to do projects in the house either. I'm just going to play and have fun. And I'm going to cook food. I'm going to make puzzles, and we're going to play Carcassonne and some other fun stuff and watch a movie or so. And I did that. I set my intent, because if I wouldn't have done it, I would have at some point caught myself gravitating to the computer and all of a sudden pulling something up and doing something worky. Or something comes in, I'm checking my phone and stuff like that. But by setting the intent in the morning, I was able to follow through on it. This is my day off. I'm fully going to enjoy myself and be fully present with my family. Bam, that's it. So that's the kind of stuff where you can have a tremendous effect on your experience simply by focusing your mind. You're setting your intent with your thoughts by using specific language that draws that picture of the experience that you want to create. The difference between a goal and an intent, I think someone is at least thinking about it. What's the difference between goal and intent? The goal is, for example, I'm going to use my Sunday. I'm going to cook some food. I'm going to watch some fun movie. I'm going to make sure I get a walk in. I'm going to spend a lot of time with the grandkids, and we're going to get the Barbies out, which, by the way, we had, and it was so awesome this year. I love it. Got this wedding scene set up right now that it just makes me laugh every time I look at it. So those are the goals. These are the specific things I want to accomplish today. And you know what? If you don't want to do anything, then your thing to accomplish, today I will do nothing. Today I will lounge. Today I will make sure I get a 3-hour nap. That is your accomplishment. That is your to-do list. When people say, oh, I don't like to-do lists. I don't want to, put myself in a box there, and I want to keep my freedom and stuff. Today my goal is to experience everything that I do in freedom. Cool, huh? And actually, freedom goes more into the intent arena, because the intent, like I keep saying, is the framework. So the goals are the picture, are the puzzle, are the movie, are the whatever scene that you're creating. And then the framework is the emotional state that you want to have while you're doing it. Because, yeah, I can accomplish all these goals. And you know what? I can feel guilty all day long because I should be working. There's always more to do, right? I could be doing stuff. How dare I take this time off? Oh, just a little bit. Come on. It's a different framework than giving myself. I am fully enjoying myself and I'm totally present in the moment. Wow, doesn't that feel completely different? So that's the difference between the goals and the frameworks. The goals are measurable. They are the specific things that you want to accomplish, all the way from I'm going to be a sloth today and I'm going to take a long nap and I'm going to watch at least 2 movies and I'm never going to get out of my robe. Those are actual goals. The intent is, and I'm going to feel totally good about it. I'm going to be fully present. I'm going to be guilt-free. What's guilt-free? I'm going to be deserving. I'm going to feel deserving all day. I'm going to value myself today. You hear the difference? The goal is what you're going to accomplish, measurable. There are time frames. There are specific things that you will do. Versus an intent is the more elusive, the more vague. And that's how I want to feel while I'm doing it. So I really hope that this much more specific iteration is going to help you to really get good at setting your intent. And remember, I'm doing this every day. And that's another one of those things. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Because it helps you focus, and what you focus on expands. That's one of the oldest adits of the law of attraction. All right, so thank you. Fantastic question. And funny enough, it actually leads into the next one, which, let me pull it up real quick. How am I supposed to manifest? What exactly am I supposed to do? The whole just wish for it and it's going to happen just doesn't work for me. I love it. Yeah, for me either. My brain, my monkey mind goes, no, that doesn't work. And you know what? If I'm totally honest, yeah, that's kind of how it works. When all of yourself is fully aligned in what it is that you want, and you have a very, very, very clear communication with the universe, with the focus, with the intensity and the duration. That's actually 2 very important pieces about the law of attraction that you need to be aware of, that it is about the intensity of the emotions. So that's where the intent comes in again, very strongly. That excitement that you're feeling about this next vacation versus, I'm going to go on a trip in a month. Oh, I'm so excited that we're going to go on a trip. And right now, actually, we're going to land in Germany. Today, in a month, we're going to be in Frankfurt and I'm going to see my parents. I'm so excited. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah, I get to go home. I'm going to hang with my parents. And yeah, I'm going to see them about a month. whatever, right? I actually feel the energy draining out of me right now. It feels so awful to be so not excited. And that's actually one of the things that I know that everybody who I've been a friend with for a long time is that I'm a very easily excited person. And I think that's actually one of the bennies for using the law of attraction. When I learned about intensity, it is about the intensity of our emotions, that cranking it up, that gratitude that's just so overflowing, where you're like literally getting tears into your eyes because you're so grateful for this person or this wonderful gift that someone gave you that was so thoughtful and sweet, for the kindness that someone brought across to you, that compliment that someone just gave you, being alive and looking outside right now. And by the way, I'm looking at this gorgeous little thing that's hanging in my window, and it's all sparkling in rainbows, and it's so incredible. And then the all-seeing eye comes because it's turning, and that makes me just so happy. Little stuff like that. I'm looking at the picture that's behind my computer screen here. I'm seeing the stuff that's behind me, all those little things I've collected over the decades, that have meaning, that I'm so grateful for. So crank up that excitement in yourself. You need to up that vibration, okay? How can I crank this up? How can I express more gratitude? How can I express more presence? For me, every time I catch myself thinking I should be doing X, Y, Z, go, not right now, because right now I'm playing Barbie with the grandkids, and I got another half hour until my next session, and therefore I'm going to be fully present with those guys right now, and then I'm going to send them off, and I'm going to work again. And I've learned to do that over time. So that's one of those how-tos that you're probably after. You need to learn to manage your internal dialogue. That is a key element. And just like I was writing around on the intent, it's essentially the same answer for how exactly do I manifest? Is it more than just me sitting on my couch and visualizing it happen, okay? So yes, the visualization is a super mega important thing. Did you know that over, I believe 60% of Americans are actually highly visually trained people, and we love to receive our information visually. That is why these live streams works. That's why we do love our YouTube. That's why we do go to anything that is visual information. We love our memes. A picture explains 1,000 words. All of those things have meaning because we are processing information visually very quickly, very easily. By you visualizing yourself having your goal fulfilled, by you making those vision boards, by you cutting out those pictures of things that you want. I'm doing those with my grandkids already. We're making vision boards. My husband just brought me some poster board, and we're going to make some vision boards of things that the kids want to attract into their life, things that they want to experience. For example, we are talking about a family trip to Germany in the next couple of years. That is a major focus for this family, them learning German, those kind of things. So we can put some special pictures from Germany on there, perhaps a picture of my parents, so that they visualize their great-grandparents that they want to meet in person, those kind of things, okay? So the visual is a super mega powerful resource that you absolutely want to use in manifesting your desires. For example, also in how you create your environment, how you set the space around you, that then is conducive to helping you be in that high vibration, in that high intensity of gratitude and excitement about life and hopefulness and proactivity, or being passive and being meditative. See, high intensity doesn't always mean being crazy and loud and the leader and being the one who makes things happen. When I meditate, then I want high intensity of relaxation. And I know I can do that with my mind, with just a couple of breaths and a couple of words that I say to myself. Breathe deeply in, hold, and breathe out. And again, I'm doing it with high intensity. I do it with total focus. I do it with total dedication to that's what I'm doing right now. And if it's concentrating on deep breathing, then that's concentrating on deep breathing. So I'm saying that because to a lot of people, it creates confusion when we talk about the high intensity, because they think that what that means is that we're super mega happy and we have to run around with this big smile on our face and we're driving everybody crazy with our fake positivity, as some people would consider it. Also, that's absolutely not what I'm talking about. It is about cranking that barometer of whatever emotion that you are feeling and you want more of it, that you have the ability to intensify it for yourself so that you can keep it over longer durations. And again, different schools of thought. What we do know is the longer you are able to maintain a certain vibration, the longer you are able to certainly have an emotion like happiness or gratitude or curiosity or compassion or bliss. That's why I love prayer. That's why I love songs. For example, that happy song with Pharrell Williams. The second I hear that song, da 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 da, ba 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 ba, my body starts moving, and then I get up from my chair and I start running around doing crazy stuff, like woo woo, and all of a sudden I start laughing, I have this big smile on my face. I can't help it. So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to have these things that really get you into this, wow, I'm doing it. Wow, this is happening. Wow, that is really beautiful compassion I'm feeling in my heart right now for this person or this animal or the situation, for these people. Empathy. Whew, you really, really feel the empathy. Or you go to curiosity, like, oh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how this is all going to turn out. Okay? Or peace. Let's go to peace. And I just think of all the things that I've ever feared in my life that then somehow turned out okay. Perhaps some lows that I've been in, and still that little voice in my head that said, Christiane, don't worry. It's going to turn out all right. Please just trust. Just have peace of mind right now. And that's the greatest value you can have right now, is peace of mind. Breathe that in and just enjoy. And do you hear what I'm actually doing here, you guys? I'm using my words. I create little stories. I create little examples. I draw on resources from my past. And those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, please go back to the last video. When was it? On the 17th, on the 31st of May. Go to that, just scroll down a little bit, and I will actually take you through an exercise starting at around 45 minutes into the video, where I am actually leading you through exactly that kind of an exercise, where you are drawing on the resources of your own past. Those times when you had this incredible manifestation power, that time when I sat on my couch in Germany and I said, I want to move to America and I want to have the greatest adventure of my life, of a lifetime. And I want to see, what this country has to offer in the Wild West. And I get to sit in the desert and I'm in the mountains. Wow, that was a dream when I was 24 years old. That was just me making it up in my mind going, how cool would it be? And those of you who've been with me on this journey for the last 30 years know exactly how cool it's been and how much fun I've been having and how incredibly adventurous it's been. So you are totally creating that for yourself. You absolutely have the power to create that through the thoughts that you're conjuring up in your mind. And that's why journaling is so important. That's why writing stuff down is so important, because we need to re-educate ourselves. We need to retrain our brains. How often do you still handwrite these days? If you absolutely can't stand it, type it into your phone, put it into reminders. I have certain reminders that pop up. I have certain alarms that I set that pop up. Remember to set your intent. I got my mastermind groups on here, all kinds of stuff that reminds me that I do these kind of things. Just like I'm turning on specific music when I go to bed at night. Some of them have those special beats. Some of them are just super long tones, whatever it is. It drowns out. It's my white noise. Drowns out all the other noises in the house. It's my little, and then anytime I start making a list in my mind, like, oh gosh, I forgot this and that, or oh, you need to do this and that, it's like, I can take care of that tomorrow. Thank you, darling, for reminding me. Back to breathing. And that's what I had to train myself doing, because I didn't used to do that. That wasn't naturally what I would do. My MO was freaking out, worrying about it. Oh, it's going to go wrong. Oh, I'm going to mess up. And then I would be an insomniac laying around for hours at night. And over time, with self-hypnosis, with self-affirmations, with learning from Louise L.A., with learning everything I could from NLP, and then getting more into the law of attraction, understanding more of how the quantum universe works, to really start zoning in on the kind of thoughts that I know are most conducive to my health and well-being. I know I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight because I know that everything is on my list for tomorrow to do. All my important things are on my list, and everything else that might pop up, I can just take care of tomorrow. Thank you so much, my dear parts, for watching over me and for watching out that I'm always on purpose. And let's go to sleep right now. Thank you. And usually I'm gone 30 seconds later. I don't even remember how it happens. I'm just gone. I wake up hours later. Yeah, that's how it goes. So use your mind, use your thoughts, the things you think in your mind, the pictures you make in your mind, the pictures that you're out picturing by creating pictures like the treasure maps, the certain movies that you're watching, the memes that you're looking at, the groups that you're following that present you with certain information. I love whatever algorithm Facebook is using right now with me because all I get is flower pictures. I love it. Thank you, everybody, for posting flower pictures. Makes me happy every time. Every single one I like, I love, I make comments. I'm like, thank you. You just made my day. And that's one of those things that I cherish. It's nature. Nature in just its beautiful perfection of a little flower. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And so that's how you influence your state. That's how you manifest what you want. I shared with you guys here on my vision board, for example, I have a couple of trips on there. One of them manifested itself within a couple of weeks. For me, just put it on there saying, oh, I always love going to Lake Havasu. Let's put it on there. Bam. Manifested itself already. And then there's some other stuff on here too that I'm already seeing. And it's just about that mindset, that openness, that curiosity, that excitement that gets fueled by doing that. And I already have a whole box of more pictures of things that I'm also currently attracting into my life. I hope that this gave you a lot of ideas and a lot more focus and information that you need to know what you need to do, what you can do to become a better manifester. You want to use your visual faculty and put out the pictures of those things that you want to achieve, the people you want to attract into your life, the relationships, the kind of job opportunities, the financial status, lifestyle choices that you want to make, health choices. Who do you want to be in 30 years? Visualize that every day, every day. Get a glimpse of yourself. Say hi to your older self. Hey, how you doing? Am I on the right track? Any information for me? Any input? Any feedback? I love to do that. I love to talk to my 88-year-old. Yeah. A lot of times I'm like, I'm just going to go 30 years in the future or so. So I have created this relationship with my older self over time. Check in with her. Hey, are we good? Any info that would be useful? Thanks. Appreciate it. Start creating that relationship with yourself. It's magnificent. Trust me. All right. So what do we have next? Ooh, how to stay out of my ego. Ha ha ha, the ego. Lovely question. Lovely theme, right? The ego. So when I grew up and I would hear the word ego, it was all about getting out of ego, getting rid of ego. Ego is bad. Ego is that bad part of ourselves. Egocentric, egotistical. Oh, they're just stuck in their ego. It doesn't have many positive connotations, right? So I always shied away from it. It was kind of weird to me until I got introduced to the work of Carl Jung, who loves to talk about the shadow. And he also talks about that yin and yang aspect of our existence, which of course, I love coming from the oneness. As oneness splits into two, it becomes the yin and the yang, which then turns into the three and then turns into the 10,000 things. And all of a sudden we have our universe being created. So that's one of the myths that you can see as one of the possible mythological commentary on how the universe works. And when you take that and you're putting your intent into it, what does it mean to work with my shadow? It's those parts that I have disowned. That's what I learned in shamanism. Those are the parts that we have disowned. Those are those soul fragments that we lost because something terrible happened, something dramatic happened, something shattered us, something was just so profound in our growing up, in our belief system, in our imprints, that in that moment our soul fragmented and we lost a part of ourselves. That's one way of looking at it. Some people call it the inner child. There is this part in me that's stuck at a certain age because something dramatic happened when I was 2, something dramatic happened when I was 7, then something happened when I was 12. And those are the kind of things where ultimately, emotionally, I'm still stuck on being a 7-year-old whenever that specific anchor gets pushed, even though now I'm in my 40s, 50s, or 60s. Okay? So that's the kind of stuff that you need to think about when you talk about ego. Then the other slant I got on the idea of ego, the other facet of ego that I got introduced to, is ultimately the journey into the subconscious mind from the hero's journey perspective. And that again opened up the framework somewhat to me. Like, so ego might be the part that is that piece of myself that I have disowned. And then when that is the case, that's when it shows up as the negative ego, the ego that is being selfish, the ego that's being narcissistic, the ego that's only thinking about my gratification, that doesn't really listen to other people, and it's just waiting to speak myself and that kind of stuff, okay? And when the ego is integrated and when we are dealing with those hurts, those fragmentations, those dramas, and we are putting ourselves back together, then we can have a healthy ego. And that ultimately is the hero's quest. Ultimately, I just thought of that. Ultimately, the hero's quest is to turn the negative ego into the positive ego, the low vibrational ego into the high vibrational ego, because the ego in itself is not a bad thing, okay? And that was actually a 24-year-old student, Lulu, in Shanghai, who made me aware of that. We had this wonderful discussion about ego, and I came from a more negative, egotistical, egocentric kind of framework in my interpretation of it. And then she called me on it and she said, Christiane, I don't see ego as a bad thing. This whole wanting to get out of ego and stuff, I don't support that at all. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that kid is so brilliant. She's amazing. She's a typical millennial right there, That was like 5-6 years ago. She's 30 now. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm open. Tell me more. And she said, the ego is needed. We need to have the ego. It's just how it lives in us and how fragmented we are and how far removed we are from our shadows. So that really made me think very differently about it. So it's about having a healthy ego. And when you are in a healthy ego and you are in that high vibration of gratitude, compassion, oneness, beingness, peace of mind, trust, connection, oneness, then you won't wish for things that are good for others. Then you cannot be selfish in that selfish way that is hurtful to others and the environment. Then you will be naturally sustainable. You will be naturally kind. When you feel inclined to do good things, then that means in that moment your ego is at rest, it's at peace, it's happy. Yourself is okay. The part of you that feels separate from everything else. And that is a reality. That's one level of reality. And that's the level of reality that the ego functions on very well. When we are able to say, I am separate from you, which we know is an illusion, deep down, we are all connected. We can't help it. We are all entangled. That's just the way it is. And on other levels, there is a perceived separation. I'm a woman. You're a man. I'm this age. You're that age. We're different. I live here. You live there. I have this experience. You have that experience. That kind of stuff, And when that part that knows the separateness of us, in conjunction with the bigger picture of the illusion, and we always know that, yeah, I get it, I am separate from you right now, and I'm separate from this situation, and I'm having some judgments about it, and I'm calling it bad, and you shouldn't do that, and why do people think that way? And we have enough issues that we're dealing with right now collectively, where we could have so many different opinions about so many different things. And most of the time, I'm doing my best to keep myself away from all that information because it doesn't serve me. And I do usually hear the important stuff. So you find your own way that works for you. Make sure you don't feel too separated, because that's usually when the judgment starts creeping in. That's when the ego goes into the darker layers, perhaps, of blaming, judging, explaining, criticizing, and seriously seeing the separation between us and them. And if that doesn't serve you, bring it back, bring it back. Through affirmations like, I know we're not any different on the most deep, profound level. We are all the same. We're all connected. We're all part of this organism on this planet right here, right now, figuring this out together. We're all in the same boat. We are all in the same boat. See, in just 4 or 5 sentences like that, totally changed my energy. It's amazing. I can get myself down very quickly and I can get myself just as quickly up again. And everybody has that choice. And it's just a learned behavior, you guys. Just like you're remembering someone's name, or just like you're remembering a sentence in different language, or you're remembering a lyric from a song, or you're remembering a melody that you're playing on the piano, or that special technique that you're using for playing tennis or running or anything else you do. You just learned it and you dedicated yourself to practicing it until you got good at it. The law of attraction is not any different. Positive thinking is not any different. It's a learned behavior, okay? So nobody's screwed. Nobody's messed up beyond repair, beyond, oh, there's no chance for me to turn things around. Oh, no, 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 no. I've seen people on their deathbed turning things around and having something happen that allowed them to pass in peace. So, guys, please believe in yourself, believe in the universe, okay? So, we got about 10 minutes left, and we're going to go really deep now, because I'm going to go back to a conversation that I had a few weeks ago, and it's been lingering in my mind ever since, because I know by having had that conversation that this is now the conversation that needs to be had publicly. And it's a conversation that I would love to hear a lot more of, because that's where my mind has been for at least the last decade. Every time I think about the law of attraction, it's about this bigger picture of, if this is such a powerful resource, then why don't we do more for the earth? Why don't we use the law of attraction to help the environment and the animals that are suffering under our choices? The rivers, the oceans, the mountains, the cities, people, animals, things that are happening. How can this be when we are so powerful with the law of attraction? And then the conversation went into the direction of, ultimately, that most people use the law of attraction for selfish reasons, on a consumer-oriented basis. I want more stuff. I want more money. I want more houses. I want more cars. I want better. I want bigger, more expensive stuff. And that is when you really look at media, when I do, do a little guilty tripping on social media, and I look around on what's being shared in pop culture, what are the people doing in charge of what's happening and who's out there. It is very consumer oriented. It's very consumer driven, definitely. And it comes very clearly across like that in The Secret. It's being called a catalog, the universe. And I thought it was a funny metaphor, for a while I laughed about it. I used that language too. And then I felt a little bitter about it. I felt a little, yeah, there are different ways of relating to that. And perhaps it is a little egotistical to call it that, like, I just order what I want. Who cares? We're in an infinite universe and we have infinite resources of whatever to create, whatever crap we want to buy. Right? And we know it's not like that. So, ultimately, what my friend emphasized in that wonderful conversation that we had about exactly that issue is that commitment that I made to myself, and I posted about that in the beginning of the year in our Law of Attraction Club, that I want to put more emphasis in my teachings, in my outward expression of how I use the law of attraction, on the level of how can we use this incredible resource to help our society grow and transform into a more sustainable society that will take care of all these issues that we're currently dealing with. Because those issues are normally created through that idea of separation, and that there is a us and them that have different ideas about certain issues. And by using the law of attraction in its true purpose of raising your vibration so that you can become a better contributor to your society, that it instantly and automatically will lead to more smart thinking, smart feeling, and smart behaviors. You will have higher consciousness thoughts, feelings, behaviors. You will be able to activate different parts of your brain. We're screwed when we're stuck in reptilian, right back there, fight, flight, freeze, super survival mode. Ain't much happening. Very caveman, cavewoman, lowbrow. I want it now. Me. Okay, that's what you see in a 2-year-old when they're, I want the toy, my toy. You're in cave brain. Good. So, let's pump it up. Let's activate the two hemispheres. The male, the female, receptive, proactive, doing versus being, absolutely neurologically lodged in our brains. The parts that are better at doing mathematics, the parts that are good at learning language, the parts that are really good about decision making, the parts that are really good about offering a hug to someone in need, and so on. Those are different centers of our brain that are lighting up in that moment. And when that's all fired up and it's really working well, then the frontal lobe starts being activated. And that's why you see so many depictions with the third eye right there. This is the place of the pineal gland. If you imagine a line going from your third eye back and a line going down from the top of your skull, and where those two intersect, that's where your pineal gland rests. That tiny sweet little bean in its environment of fluidity. Just imagine that little bean is just spinning, and it's happily spinning. That's your pineal gland. And there are so many brain functions that are just enhanced by having that little guy work so well. And the frontal lobe is the place of decision making, of reasoning, collaboration, ethical thinking, moral, sustainability. All of that is lodged in the frontal lobe. And most people never make it there because they're stuck in reptilian. That's one of the things that I like about Dr. John Hagelin, who talks about in the What the Bleep Do We Know, that we are so used to being under stress. And when we're in stress, we're definitely in the reptilian brain. We're just in survival. We're just figuring out what's the next step. What do we need to do to be safe? Maslow's hierarchy is another way of looking at it. We're in survival. We cannot self-actualize. How can I express myself when I don't know how to feed my kids? So yes, deep down, the law of attraction starts with selfishness. And it is about creating the stuff that you want. You want to get out of survival, you want to get into comfort, you want to get into a place of, now I can think. Now I actually have enough space to breathe. We use those words even. My head is over the water. Look at all those metaphors that we're using, right? We're so conditioned, you guys. We're so conditioned. It's crazy. Yeah, now I can actually think. Now I can see what's up. Okay, so that's just one level of interacting with the law of attraction. Because then as you start raising your consciousness more and more and more, you will get to a place of an actual comfort. And that doesn't mean that you have a certain amount of money or that you have a certain amount of living space or that you get to eat a certain amount of foods. It is being okay with what you have right here, right now. It is about practicing gratitude with what is. And that was the hardest lesson for me when COVID hit. And I made the decision to close my coaching practice because I didn't want to add to people's stress who were in financial distress and didn't know what was going to go on. Hey, let me do some coaching for you, that kind of stuff. I was like, nope, not the right time. I'm just going to retreat right now. I'm going to figure out my own gig right now. This is not the right time to do it. And I constantly had to tell myself, this is the right decision. I'm doing the right thing. Don't worry about anything. It's all going to be perfect. It's all going to turn out correctly, just the way you need it to. It's going to be perfectly aligned with your mission. Blah, blah, blah. I had to make up this whole catalog of thoughts to calm my nerves, to make sure that I knew I was making the right decision so I'm not hanging out in my reptilian brain, ripping myself apart, going, you idiot, what did you think? Why didn't you do? You should have done XYZ. You messed up, blah, blah, whatever. No. Reasoning, figure it out, honor my male, my female parts, honor my internal yin and yang, activate all my brain faculties through my thought process. What do I see? What do I hear? How do I breathe? How do I move my body? All those good things. And then my frontal lobe can go, what are the options? I wonder what opportunities are on the horizon, and so on and so on. So to bring it back, my friends, I think we are opening a new chapter collectively. We are forcing ourselves, we're encouraging ourselves, we are really insisting that we're taking it to the next level. It's just like the little kid at 2 years old. We're like, yeah, they're just being, that's that selfish phase and they're figuring out who they are. Environmental development, blah, blah. It's important for their emotional development. It's understandable that the little kid will do that. If the kid still does it at 15, we got an issue, right? And that's what I see us doing as well with the law of attraction. We're evolving, we're developing, we're growing. And once you start raising your vibration and your consciousness, you will wish for different things. And then it is not about the materialistic pleasures. It's not about the consumerism. You will naturally wish more for the well-being of others, for the well-being of your community. And actually, that brings me right to a beautiful story I have from one of my other Chinese friends, Rosie. Interesting, another person from Shanghai, who is one of my star students. And she's one of those people who immediately went for it the second she learned about the law of attraction, the structure, some of the strategies, the visualizations, and those kind of things. She wanted to travel. And she literally created a trip to Italy within the first 3 months of learning about the law of attraction. And she said that is one of the things she put on her to-do list and things she wanted to create for herself. And not only was it a business trip that was actually paid for, she even attracted that she had another week of time where she got to explore the country some more and had a fantastic time. And so every time I go to China, she's telling me amazing things that she's creating and coincidences that are happening and people she's running into and all kinds of fun stuff. Until a few years later, she comes and she says, okay, Christian, this weird thing happened because she does take public transportation and the public transportation is very, very well used. So getting a seat is quite a rarity. And that was one of her things that she liked to practice. I always get fantastic seats on the subway, in the tram, however she travels on the train. I always get fantastic seats. And she did. She was really, really good at attracting seats. And then she came and said, the weirdest thing happened. She's like, Christiana, I attracted this free seat. And then I was looking over to this other person who was standing there. And I felt inclined to give them my seat because I realized that it actually made me much happier. And they weren't pregnant, they weren't old or anything like that. It was just a person. And for some reason, I felt it was more important to me to actually offer them the seat than for me to have it. What do you think about that? And she was really confused about it. How does this fit into the law of attraction? Because she didn't feel good about actually using the seat when she felt that it might have fit better for this other person. And she didn't know them, she didn't know what their story was. There was just this energy that compelled her to have that thought. And in that moment, I knew she had taken the next step because she had grown beyond herself. And it was not about her own, I'm going to create a parking spot for myself. Because you know what? I always love to have the pregnant woman get the parking spot, the parents with the little kids that they have to walk to the grocery store, the elderly who has walking disabilities, or the person who's rolling around in a wheelchair, whatever it is. I'm so happy when I know that they got the spot that was closest to the grocery store. So there comes that moment when actually the happiness of the other person is so much more important to you and gives you more satisfaction and happiness than actually fulfilling your own wish. So that's what I wanted to give to you guys as a little reminder, just that little baby step of giving up your seat for someone, of telling that person outside of the grocery store, let me take your cart back. Can I carry those bags for you? May I open the door for you? That was one of the first things I brought to myself, where I'm like, how can I practice the law of attraction in everyday little behaviors, the random acts of kindness, right? Helping with grocery bags, helping with opening doors, offering to take cards back. Those were the first little things that I committed to myself I would be doing. Little things like making compliments when I notice something beautiful about someone. I love to make compliments to kids and engage with the kids and let the parents know what a sweet smile their baby has, especially when that little one is like, ah, or they say something cute, or I see their size and I'm like, are they about 2 years old or so? Or they say some stuff. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of my granddaughter. There's always a way to connect with people who have kids, right? So those are the things that I made a decision many, many years ago. This is the way that I can spread love, happiness, and high vibration by simple little engagements like that. I just can make someone stay by paying attention to them, by saying, I see you in some way, shape, form, or another. And that's how together we can make this world a better place, you guys. We do not have to run for president. We don't have to write the book series or make a movie or do anything grand, just by doing little random acts of kindness, just by raising your own vibration and making sure that you're leaving every single person that you're encountering during the day in a little bit of a better place. Wouldn't that make the world a better place altogether? And how little do we know that kind word that you shared with a stranger, or that hug that you gave to a friend, or that encouragement that you gave to an employee, that might have made the difference for them on that day. That made this a day worth looking back on, saying, that wonderful thing happened and so really showed me that they saw me, and that was very meaningful to me. I'm going to talk more about that, you guys. This is very exciting and scary at the same time to take it to this level, especially with the judgments that are floating around in the world about the law of attraction and some of those things that we believe in and we have faith in that are being laughed about by others. And that's when it's just up to you to do your own thing, to believe in what you're believing, and to see what the results will bring, right? So we will definitely meet again. We will definitely connect again. Our next gathering is on the 28th of June, 2 days before we start our next boot camp. And anybody who's interested in diving a lot deeper and having daily accountability and encouragement from me, please let me know. I'm offering a super special for everybody who is going to actually register by the 21st of June, because that is solstice, and I want to give everybody the chance to get the discounted price of $88, and then guess what? I'm going to go up to $99. So if you do not register by June 21st, it's going to go up to $99, and for less than $3 a day, you're going to be able to be part of this boot camp, 1 month long, every day encouragement, and every week a live stream just like this, where I'm going to share very specific resources and take you guys through some practical exercises, okay? So one piece left is our drawing, and the person who won the prize from last time, and I was super happy when the name popped up, because it is one of our long-term friends, and she is someone who's in the community, and she is a mega manifester, because I know that she has manifested many, many powerful things. She is a person of high intensity, and she is totally on her track to becoming a super master of the law of attraction. And of course, that's why you won, Tina Marie. And I knew you knew it, that I would say your name right, because yeah, you're one of those people who attracts a lot of cool stuff. So I'm super stoked that you're the winner of last time's gathering. And everybody who's watching today, make sure that you comment and like, because you will enter our drawing by doing that, okay? As soon as your name pops up, you are entering the drawing, and you're going to be part of the drawing I'm going to be doing on the 14th of June. Yeah, June, right. No, sorry, 28th. Today's the 14th. For today, okay? Sorry, guys. It's live. Okay. Hey, I hope I gave you lots of ideas to process. I hope I gave you some very practical information that you can immediately start applying. Please look at this information again. Learn, practice, read, do what you can. listen to Esther Hicks, read Wayne Dyer, all those guys, Louise L. Hay, all those guys who are putting this information out. Who's my favorite? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. He's the computer scientist who went all spiritual. Greg Braden and Wayne Dyer, and I know I keep saying Wayne Dyer. Dr. John Hagelin, one of my all-time favorites. Alan Watts. So many favorite, wonderful people diving into this topic and giving you more information. Okay? And then I see you guys in 2 weeks again. I'm definitely going to send some reminders. I'd love to hear from you. Send me messages and let me know your questions, because I promise you, I will put them into future content, okay? Have a wonderful day, my friends. The sun is starting to set. It's getting dark out there. These are the longest days of the year. I'm super excited. Make your wishes for solstice, my friends. And then we're going to see each other again in 2 weeks right here on Facebook, okay? Lots of love to you and have a good night. Bye.